This is Module 1, Lesson 4, Part 2. We're going to continue our discussion of qualitative data, and we're going to pick up and talk about the ways that you can display qualitative data. We're going to focus on two different types of graphs. They are a bar chart and a pie chart. You're not going to be asked to actually create these graphs using the raw data, but you will be asked to interpret information provided by the graphs. In today's society, you can probably find a free website, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access, which would actually create these graphs for you. Rarely do researchers create these graphs by hand anymore. If you'll recall, in Part 1, we created a categorical frequency distribution, which allowed us to organize the raw data collected about the county of residence for students in spring 2016 at Georgia Highlands, which I have displayed here on the screen. We can use this frequency distribution to kind of give us a jump start for the two different graphs. The first graph focuses on the third column of the frequency distribution, which is the frequency. With a bar graph, the height or the length of the bar represents the frequency. And you'll see a bar graph there on the left-hand side of the screen that I generated through Microsoft Excel that shows the county of residence for GHT students spring 2016. I emphasized the frequency by putting the actual numeric value at the top of each bar so that the reader or the researcher doesn't have to estimate or guess what the value was. Notice that there are gaps between the bars because each category with qualitative data is considered a standalone. There's no overlap between the different categories. Any type graph should always have a title with lots of detail. You should also indicate what information is given on the horizontal axis and what information is given on the vertical axis. A pie chart uses the relative frequency, which is the fourth column of the categorical frequency distribution, and each slice or piece of the pie represents that relative frequency or that percentage. Pie charts are very useful if we want to compare more than one category to another. So we can compare category against category. We can also compare a category to the entire data set as well, so we can see that relationship. Again, it's important that you give the graph a title with details. Also, you want to label each individual piece or each individual slice of the pie, ideally with the category name and the corresponding percentage or relative frequency. Let's think about how we can analyze qualitative data. Once you have the data organized into a categorical frequency distribution, we can use that to create either a bar graph or a pie chart, depending upon the information we need to communicate. But ultimately, our goal is to answer the research question. So what kind of analysis can we do? What can we learn from the sample about the population? With qualitative data, the type of analysis we can do is very limited because we have words and phrases. Since we don't have numbers, we're not able to perform any mathematical calculations. So there are basically three things that researchers can determine whenever they're dealing with qualitative data. They can determine the most popular or the most common, which category occurred the most. Statistically, that's called the mode. Which category occurred the least. And then, if need be, they can provide rankings with that sense of order from lowest to highest or highest to lowest. So thinking about the example we've been working on, the most popular county of residence is Bartow based on the sample. Therefore, we can conclude or infer that the most popular county of residence for all GHC students in spring 2016 is Bartow. The least popular county is Gordon based on the sample. Therefore, we can conclude or infer that the least popular county of residence for all GHC students in spring 2016 is Gordon. And then we can look at the rankings. We already know that the most popular was Bartow, second was Cobb, third is Paulding, fourth is Cherokee, and again, the least popular is Gordon. All right, let's walk through another example together, okay, real quick, so you'll have another one to refer back to. Beginning with the question, what is the most popular type of computer sold at a local retail store? We need to think about what our variable is. What information are we going to collect? We need to collect information about the type of computer sold to a customer at a local retail store. And the options at the store are a desktop, laptop, notebook, or tablet. Again, hopefully it's obvious that those are words or phrases, which means we are collecting qualitative data, which is neither discrete nor continuous, and it's also nominal. Again, a desktop is not necessarily better than a laptop. The population is all computers sold to customers at a local retail store. The sample was collected using sales records from the past year. A random starting point was selected and every seventh record examined. This is a systematic sampling method, which is one that's very easy to use. It is random because we chose a random starting point, and it is representative of the sales at the store. So as we went through, we recorded what type of computer was sold on every seventh record, and this is the list that we obtained. Again, there's no rhyme or reason to the list, so we need to organize it. So I want you to try this on your own. I've given you the setup to construct a frequency distribution. So pause the video and take a minute and go through the raw data and complete the table. When you're finished, you should have these results: 11 desktops, 23 laptops, 9 notebooks, and 7 tablets. Okay, let's analyze it. Based on our categorical frequency distribution, the most popular type of computer sold at a local retail store is a laptop. The least popular type of computer is a tablet. If a computer types were ranked most popular to least popular, the rankings would be laptop first, desktop second, notebook third, and tablet fourth. Again, think about how a retail store might use this information. If they know that the most popular type of computer is a laptop, then they may want to stock more laptops in the store. If they know a tablet's not very popular, maybe they don't stock as many tablets to kind of keep down their overhead. So statistical analysis of qualitative data can be very useful or be very useful in the real world.